welcome back to another episode, guys. And in this episode, we're going to take a look back at a film that I saw when it originally came out. I've watched it one time on 4K since I've gotten this, but I wanted to go and take a look at this one more time and just see why is this such a negative film for a lot of people? Why do a lot of people pan this film, and why don't they like it? And that is Hellboy, the reboot of Hellboy, starring David Harbour. Milla Jovovich is also in this as well. She's the main villain of the film. She's the Blood Witch. And right there, I mean, guys, the image on, the cover is just, it's a great image. It really, really is. It really captures the essence of Hellboy. Now, again, why don't people like this film? Now, one thing I gotta say is, yes, there's no doubt, Ron Perlman is a fantastic Hellboy. There is nobody better to play the role than Ron Perlman. He is a man an actor who was born to be Hellboy. And Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy films are fantastic. The first one, as well as Golden Army, the second one. And, so good that I had to just upgrade them to 4K recently, guys. But with this one, David Harbour was the perfect actor to step into that role. I don't know if there's another actor out there that could have stepped into the role. There's pretty big shoes to fill, when it comes to, Ron Perlman. And I think David Harbour does a good job in this film. Dare I say, he does a really, really fantastic job in this film. Is he, like I said, is he Ron Perlman? No. But he's the next best thing, in my opinion, to having Perlman in this. Yes, it's a little step down, but still, he does a good job in the role. Now, Milla Jovovich, she's fine as the villain, as the main villain, as the Blood Witch. This film is a lot gorier than, previous films, the Del Toro films. This film also has, it's an R-rated film. The other films, not so much. But this one is definitely, it definitely gets its R rating. And plus, this film sticks mostly to what the tradition of Hellboy is. Based, really, this is closer to the comics than what Del Toro's films of Hellboy, were made, when they were made. And it's an entertaining film. This takes you all over the place, from the U.S., to England, and the settings are beautiful in 4K. For anybody, and there might be some spoilers here, guys, but for anybody who's seen this film, and they do the hunt, when they go after, the giants, they look amazing in 4K. This film is beautifully shot. There's no doubt about it. Yes, there's some of, when it comes to Hellboy's, his costume and everything, is it as good as what, Del Toro's version of Hellboy was with Perlman? No, but it's still, it's still really good. But as far as the visuals go, it looks amazing when the hunt is going on, and especially when he's fighting against the giants in the woods and stuff. To have this film and to see this film, you have to see it in 4K, because any other way, it's not going to do it any justice. This film also has a man who can transform into like a leopard or a jaguar. Fantastic! The transformation is really done well. The CGI could maybe be a little bit sharper, but it still looks good. And he's on the side of Hellboy. We have this young girl who's also, part of his team, and she could basically, channel the spirits. And it's a good team. Is it Ron Perlman and Selma Blair and Abe Sapien from the first films? For the first film? No. But this team still does a pretty good job. And again, anybody who's seen this and seen the end credits to this will know that, had there been a sequel made to this, yeah, we were going to get another version of Abe Sapien brought into this Hellboy universe. But the whole, the idea of this film is that Hellboy, he's going to bring the destruction, the end of Earth, the end of the world, basically. And Milla Jovovich's, Blood Witch, she, back in the day of Excalibur, when, King Arthur held Excalibur. Excalibur was the only sword, the only way of defeating the Blood Witch. And he decapitated her severed her arms, her legs, and they spread her body all over different areas in England. Well, that's basically the premise of the film. Someone is gathering these body parts to resurrect her and bring her back. And she wants Hellboy to be her king. And they could destroy the world and rule the world together and bring upon all this darkness. And, he's fighting against this the entire film. Everybody keeps telling saying, you're going to bring up, the end of the world. There's something going on here. And he sees it. The first time he touches Excalibur, because later in the film, we need to bring Excalibur back into the picture. That's magical sword. The only way of defeating the Blood Witch. And, he can, as soon as he goes to touch it, he gets an image of him just destroying the world. He's on this giant fire-breathing dragon. He's got full horns, and he's just wiping everything out. And basically, it's him fighting against this the entire time. His anger, not really feeling like he fits into the human race. And I think it's well done. I absolutely do. The fights are good. Like the action sequences done really well. The cinematography is done well in this film. Like I said, it pops big time on 4K, and it sounds good too. I really don't think this film gets the justice that it deserves. It's not a bad film at all. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would absolutely give this a good solid 7.5. Again, I decided, I'm just going to go pick a film off the shelf today, something that I've already seen, something that maybe, people really, it doesn't get the love that it deserves. And this is the one that I decided to watch tonight. And I really think, for anybody who's only seen this one time, I really think it's worth a second viewing. It's not a stinkfest, guys. It's a 2-hour film, but it's entertaining. It doesn't feel like it drags on or overstays its welcome. It's an entertaining film for the duration that it runs. And David Harbour does a great job as Hellboy. The beginning sequence, when he gets, he's trying to find a fellow team member of his, paranormal team, and the guy turns into a vampire, and they're fighting in this wrestling ring. It's great. He definitely, David Harbour, again, he was the perfect guy to play this role. I don't think anybody else could have stepped into Perlman's shoes, because like I said, they're pretty big shoes to fill. But Hellboy is definitely worth another visit. And I want to say, I think this is 2019, right? Yeah, 2019. So, unfortunately, guys, this did not do good at the box office, and we're definitely probably more than likely never going to get a sequel to this. But there's like 3 end credits too, and they're all, pretty darn entertaining. I definitely would recommend, because this is probably, I haven't checked out before the making this video, but I'm pretty sure this is probably fairly cheap now to pick up. Like I said, it didn't do very good. Didn't light the world on fire. No pun intended with the flames behind Hellboy. But it's definitely worth checking out. I don't think you're going to be disappointed, especially at the right price. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Take another shot, revisiting Hellboy. Definitely worth doing just that, guys. So, like, subscribe, and comment if you guys get the chance, and I'll see you in another video. Take care.